My name is Benjamin Gorman. I'm an author from here in Oregon. I also teach at Central High School in Independence, Oregon. And I'm a publisher of Not Quite Publishing, a small publishing company, indie publisher, located fittingly in Independence, Oregon. So I was very honored to be able to present tonight with Mary Crawford, who's a far more prolific author than I am. And we presented tonight in the Carnegie room at the McMinnville Public Library about the National Novel Writing Month, NaNoWriMo. So National Novel Writing Month is a challenge for authors to see if they can produce 50,000 words in a month, which is 1,667 words a day. So from a writer's perspective, it's a marathon. It's very much like marathon runners. You want to prepare and go into this month with the goal of writing what is essentially a novella. It's not a fully realized novel. It's a little bit on the short side, and it certainly has not been edited yet, but the challenge is just to create something that is 50,000 words long in 1 month. And if you do that, you win.
Hi, my name is Mary Crawford. I'm a local author from Monmouth, Oregon. I'm also a municipal leader for NaNoWriMo, the Elsewhere Oregon chapter, which serves all of the rural areas in Oregon that don't otherwise have a region. I will be holding NaNoWriMo sessions at Western Oregon University on Saturdays from 2 to 4 at the Western Oregon University Library. So I'm here today to talk about NaNoWriMo and how it's affected my life. By training, I am a civil rights lawyer, but health problems have affected my ability to be an attorney. So I began writing as a way to basically fill my brain with something to do. I became a writer quite by accident when I wrote an author to suggest that she develop a character with a disability more fully in one of her novels. I began reading for her quite by accident when she asked me to become a beta reader, and when she liked my story ideas, she suggested that I maybe develop a novel on my own, and so I did. Through that process, I began to meet other authors, and they suggested that maybe I try this mysterious thing called NaNoWriMo, and I did that 2 years ago and wrote 69,000 words in 1 month. And so needless to say, I was hooked. And so I've competed in several Camp NaNoWriMo sessions as well, which is National Novel Writing Month, basically held in the summer. So National Novel Writing Month, or NaNoWriMo, is just basically a community of writers, amateurs and professionals alike, that get together every November and try to write 50,000 words in 30 days. And I know that seems incredibly impossible, but it's really not, because when you break it down by day, it's only 1,667 words, which most people can write during the commercial breaks of their favorite shows. So it's really not all that much when you think about it. And it's incredibly fun to write a novel at the same time that the whole entire world is writing a book. It's incredibly inspiring to see what everyone else is writing, because I can guarantee you that your book is completely different than the person either sitting next to you in writing groups that are held all over at the McMinnville Public Library and in your small community wherever you live, in restaurants and libraries, in coffee shops, in schools. There are young writer programs available, so if you're a student in high school, you can join the Young Writer program that allows you to set your own goal around your homework schedule. So if you are busy with homework and you can't handle the 50,000 word goal with all of your homework, you can set your own personalized goal around your commitments as a student athlete or a student in drama or band or choir. You can set your own limited goal depending on your own commitments elsewhere in your life. So NaNoWriMo really is for everyone, whether you are a first-time writer or you're like me and this is your 15th, 16th, or 17th book. Nano offers something for everyone. One of my favorite strategies that I learned from Nano, which has changed the way I write, are word wars or sprints, which is an ability to turn your brain off and write for a limited period of time. My personal favorite is to write 30 minutes at a time and take 15 minutes off, but other people write for 20 minutes and take 10 minutes off. That allows me to take and turn my inner critic off and put my writer's hat on. You can write, I've seen people write 1,500 or 2,000 words during a sprint. I don't usually write that much. I usually write about 500 words during a sprint, but it allows me to put lots of words on the page without paying attention to whether I have exactly the right word. Those functions are for later, after November, when I'm going back and editing. November is just about getting as many words on the page as possible because you can't edit what you don't write. So that's what I love so much about participating in Nano, is it teaches you the discipline of sitting in a chair in front of your keyboard and actually writing your story. So that's how Nano has changed my life as a writer. Because before I started this process of learning Nano, I used to write 500 words in a day, and now I can write 500 words in a half hour. So I hope that you will join a Nano community in your neighborhood, whether it be in McMinnville or Monmouth where I am, or Corvallis or Portland. There are municipal leaders like me everywhere that can help you. If you want more information about NaNoWriMo, you can go to their website at nanowrimo.org and join a region near you. And if you want more information about my books, you can go to marycrawfordauthor.com. Thank you for joining us.
So National Novel Writing Month is really wonderful as a practice because it helps authors learn discipline. And one of the important disciplines that they need to acquire is the ability to set their inner critic aside and just produce. And one of the things that I try and teach my own students as well is how to distinguish between the various phases of writing and to understand that this phase of writing is drafting. And their goal is to produce the work that is very much a diamond in the rough. This is not going to be the great American novel at the end of November. It's going to be the beginning, and maybe at the end of that process they then have something that they are ready to polish, but it's going to look like a rock. And then they go through the revision stage, and that's when you polish it down and see if you've got a diamond that's worth using there, and then you would go into the editing phase, and that's when you polish that to a high sheen. So it's really important that authors understand that those are distinct phases, and one of the excellent disciplines about NaNoWriMo is that it helps authors learn time management. It helps them learn what we call sprints, how to write large amounts of volume quickly. But one of the things that it also teaches writers is how to distinguish the various phases of the writing process. And this is something that I remind my students about a lot. The phase that you're in during National Novel Writing Month is drafting, and that is distinct from revision, and that is distinct from editing. So during this part of the phase, you are just trying to produce something that may end up being a diamond in the rough. This is probably not the next great American novel at the end of November, and learning to be okay with that and recognize that there are days when you are going to hate this and think it's terrible, and there are days when you're going to think you are brilliant and it's the greatest thing you've ever written, or that anyone's ever written. This is, God's gift to literature. And then at the end of November to go back and start working on taking that ugly rock and shearing off the parts to reveal that diamond. And maybe at the end of that revision phase you have a large diamond to work with, and maybe you have a tiny little piece of a diamond that will later be set in some other piece of jewelry, but then during the editing phase you'll polish it up to a high sheen. But for now, you're just bringing it into existence in the world through pressure and heat of the National Novel Writing Month. So one of the other things that's valuable about NaNoWriMo is that you can become part of a writing community. And so folks who get into that habit find themselves working with other writers, and that's really valuable. There are different ways to do that. You can do that through the website, and that's nanowrimo.org, so NaNoWriMo.org. You can come here to the McMinnville Public Library, to the Carnegie Room. There's going to be a group right here that's going to be meeting, and you can find out about that at the front desk of the library. And you can also form other communities online. There are other ways to do that, but that process of getting encouragement and helpful feedback and learning how to distinguish the feedback that helps you produce more from the feedback that turns you off, that's a really important thing for writers to learn. It's really important that authors remember that a novel is not produced in a month. Not a novel. The bare bones of a novel are produced in a month. My own novels, I generally write a novel in about a year and then take a year to edit. Some folks move much faster. I'm also a full-time teacher, so that's a challenge for me. But those, the work is a long process, and I've got another novel that's going to be coming out this next year that's in the works. Folks can find my work either at teachergorman.com or via the publishing company, notapipepublishing.com. And they can go there and see the novel that I'm working on right now. I actually released it as a podcast in pieces so I could get feedback and people could enjoy that, and then that novel will come out as a polished version of that podcast next spring. So I know that this book still needs a lot of work. It still needs a lot of revision and editing. And if folks want to follow and see how that is coming along, they can follow me on Twitter too at teachergorman.com, or follow the process of that book itself, which is it's called The Digital Storm, and they can go to at Podcast Storm on Twitter and follow that project and check out that podcast. So this was fun tonight. It went really well, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I was really surprised at the large turnout.
Yeah.
It's encouraging to see so many up and coming writers to come.
And from so many different kinds of writing. That was fun to hear that what they were interested in. Lots of genres were represented. NaNoWriMo need not be for people who produce one kind of writing. There are poets, there are essayists, so it's just a great way for writers to come together.
Right, absolutely, and there's a lot of room in writing, especially with so many self-published things. For short stories, I get approached all the time to be included in anthologies where the word limit is only 10,000, so short stories are in big demand.
Yeah. NaNoWriMo is a good way for students, for college students, to get involved in writing, but some of them find that during the school year it's particularly challenging, so there's another opportunity called Camp NaNoWriMo in the summer, and that's a great way for students to get involved in finding their voice as well.
Right, because with Camp NaNoWriMo you set your own limit. It's not limited by 50,000 words.
Yeah, and that's just a really good practice to say, this is a goal and I'm going to achieve this goal for any writer. And beyond writing, there are a lot of things you can learn from NaNoWriMo about discipline that are valuable even outside of the world of writing, about time management and setting very difficult goals and finding that you can accomplish those.
Right, it's such a big sense of accomplishment when you track your goals and you actually meet them or exceed them.
Yeah, spend the money on the t-shirt that says I won NaNoWriMo when you finish, because you earned it. You are involved in an actual writing group, right?
Actually, I do most of my social interaction online. There's a NaNoWriMo Facebook group that is extremely active, and that's where I do most of my interaction. But I also, this year, have set up a Facebook group for the NaNoWriMo group that I am the municipal leader for, that I will be doing virtual write-ins, and then I have the NaNoWriMo Elsewhere group that I am holding in-person sessions for every Saturday at the library at Western Oregon University from 2 to 4 on Saturdays, and then we'll be having a kickoff party very early on November 1st from 12:01 a.m. to 3 a.m. To get a jump start on the writing on November 1st.
Most of my social writing is done. I lead the Creative Writing Club at Central High School, and so I actually write with my students. I find that it's really important for them to know that this is an endeavor that I am involved in just as they are involved in it, so that we are peers, we are all writers. So that's where I do my kind of social writing. But yeah, it's really important to be getting feedback on your writing. So thank you for joining us on Literally Literary, and please follow us on Twitter.
My Twitter address is Mary Crawford AUT.
And my Twitter is @TeacherGorman.
Good luck with your writing this November during NaNoWriMo.
Happy NaNoWriMo!
Hi, my name is Courtney Terry. I'm a librarian at McMinnville Public Library. Tonight we hosted a NaNoWriMo Get Ready for NaNoWriMo writing workshop here in the library Carnegie room. And all through the month of November, the library is acting as a come write in space. So anyone who would like to participate in National Novel Writing Month is welcome to come and use our free internet, comfortable seats, and endless plugins. And all through the month of November, there will be a group of writers here at the library that will meet weekly to talk about their progress during NaNoWriMo. For more information, call the Library Information Desk at 503-435-5562. Thanks.